So after the verdicts were read, the court said, "Hey, you're free to go, but the marshals might have something to say about it." So I said, "Well, if the marshals have something to say about it, let's see what orders they have. Let's see what papers they have that give them authority to take him into custody again. Otherwise, Mr. Bundy's a free man, and he should be able to."
Marshals eventually moved in, and
yeah, they had surrounded me at that point, and so I just turned to them and I said, "Guys, show me what papers you have." And the next thing I know, they surrounded me, they took a hold of me, and they were talking about how I was resisting arrest when I was simply, they just had a hold of me.
And then they put me. Your leg,
they put me to. They were twisting my legs and put me in the ground, and then they tased me.
How are you physically?
How was I physically?
How are you physically right now?
Well, I'm not a real good-looking guy. I've never been a real.
You know what I mean.
No, but in terms of the force that they may have put on you.
I mean, hey, I grew up on a dairy farm, so am I used to some rough treatment? Sure.
Do you think they acted appropriately, the marshals?
No.
Lawlessness.
Lawlessness. Appropriate? All I was asking for was papers. Man, just show me that you have the authority to take. To show me that you have the authority to take Mr. Bundy in custody.
So they didn't show you that authority. So how is he still in custody?
Lawlessness.
Well, because they don't have any. I mean, who's going to hold them to account?
The word's lawlessness.
People do,
right? In terms of what was said,
release Ammon and Ryan.
With when the jury gave that not guilty verdict, what was going through your mind?
Oh, very, very pleased, very gratified. It's always. I mean, this jury was dedicated. They listened to the evidence. They listened carefully. The judge commented that throughout the case. They listened to our case, and of course it's very gratifying, to get the kind of verdict that we did get.
Thank you. All right, so what we're going to be doing here?
I think just once. I don't know, but I felt it once, and I'm like, oh, don't tase me. That's what I was saying. I was like, don't tase me. You don't need to. I'm on the ground.
I heard him tase.
Yeah, I could hear them talking about how they were going to tase me. I'm like, oh, jeez, don't do that. Well, then he's going home, and then the marshal service stepped in, and they said, no, he's not. And I said, well, show me the order, show me the paper that says that you have authority to take him into custody, because we had litigated that issue prior, and of course also because when he was there was this issue when he was arrested in the first place. He was arrested without an arrest warrant in the first place, so I knew there was an issue about this in the first place, and so I just simply asked for the papers. And then next thing I know, I was being taken down in front of the court.
Did you raise your voice at all? That's what people were saying. Did you raise your voice when you were talking to the judge, or were you just talking?
No, I was actually leaning down into the mic so make sure that I could be heard.
And then what happened? The U.S. Marshals came up, or the courtroom security came up?
Yeah, the marshals had surrounded me, and then they took a hold of me, and then they said, "Stop resisting." And I said, "Well, what are you talking about? I'm not resisting. You have a hold of me."
Did they fire a taser at you?
Yeah, they tased me.
Did they hit you?
Yeah, it was right. I was already on the ground actually when they tased me.
In all your years in law, have you ever experienced anything like this or seen something like this happen?
Never have seen anything like this. And to be accused of disorderly conduct, I was not. I was only asking for papers. That's what I was asking. In other words, if they're gonna keep Mr. Bundy in custody, then just show me that you have the authority, because we had litigated this issue before, and they said they didn't have the authority to modify his release conditions. So I said, well, so show me the authority. Show me the papers. That's all.
In all this, did they ever show you those papers?
No, they never did.
Did they charge you with anything? I mean, what happened after you were booked?
Yeah, I was cited for disorderly conduct and for resisting a lawful order of police or something.
And what about Judge Brown? Do you think she handled it well? What about Judge Brown during all this?
Judge Brown, I don't know what she was doing, but she and I had a brief exchange after they picked me up off the ground. We had a brief exchange, and I told her how much I respected her and how much it was a privilege to litigate in front of her.
Sir, can you take us through the tasing? How many times were you tased and exactly what happened?
You'll have to probably talk to somebody who was watching. I felt the one, and I don't know how many it was, but I'm like, I was already down on the ground when it happened.
How are you doing now?
How about the verdict?
Well, of course, we're very pleased with the verdict. Very pleased that justice was done here. That that we were able to present our case to and keep in mind.
There's court news girl over there pretending like she's. Ugh.
Oh my God, you better calm down for that.
Was you in there when they tased Mumford?
Yes, and I'm so ticked off. I can't believe it.
So they tased Mumford.
They tased Mumford.
What did they tell me tased him for?
They tackled him to the ground and tased him.
What did they tase him for?
Oh, absolutely, they tased him.
Wow. What did
I
they?
am furious about that. What happened? Well, we were all found innocent. And that's the way it should have been. We were all found innocent. They should have released Ammon and Ryan, and they didn't. They held them, and they said that because Ammon's attorney Mumford said, "Your Honor, you don't have any more jurisdiction over him because now the jury has acquitted, so they're free to go." And she said, "No, they're not. The marshals are going to take you and go to Nevada or whatever." He said, "No, you can't do that." He said, "Because you have no jurisdiction. Bring me the paperwork that shows. I'm his attorney. Bring me the paperwork and show me that they have a right to retain him." And they didn't do it. They just attacked Mumford because he was not going to let him take. They tried to take Ammon and Ryan anyway, and he said, "You're not taking him." And then the marshals jumped him and wrestled him to the ground. They like 8 of them, 10 of them, and they threw him to the ground and tased him.
Well, what about David Fry?
David Fry's released.
Did they let him go right now?
He should be leaving now. He's leaving with his attorney.
Okay, great.
So he should be.
So David Fry gets to walk out.
Yes, David Fry gets to walk out. David Fry walked out.
Okay, good deal.
David Fry walked out.
Everybody hear that?
They got a clear roadmap of really, I think the government ought to drop these charges right now. Those
And for those who've already pled guilty,
well, I think I think you've already seen that there is new evidence coming to light that they said, hey, you know what? No, this isn't right. And I think, especially with the informants that they weren't told about, and things like that. So that they, because I think in fact, if you go back and look at some of the defendants who have taken a plea, they said, yeah, well, I'm doing this based on the information I have. And so when they now find out that some of those individuals were government informants whose statements were being attributed to them, I think they very much have a right to say, hey, it's not right for the government to present this evidence and say, hey, you need to be guilty because of this evidence, and then it comes from someone who's being paid by it. Right? The government can't create and cause the very crimes that have been prosecuted. I think that's the point. And so, yeah, I would expect to see some of those things get withdrawn.
and some of our viewers missed when you were talking about the chaos there at the end of the court verdict, but one of our reporters said there were computers flying everywhere and that there was quite a scrum there.
Well, I was in the middle of it, so I didn't see any of that.
I did.
I can tell you, I was asking for paper. And I said, if you have authority to take Mr. Bundy in custody.
You were right behind me.
And instead, they said, that they said yourself as this person. I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. I'm just standing there. I'm asking you for your authority. Because the judge said Mr. Bundy is free to live. Unless the marshals have,